Hello everybody and welcome back to Space Engineers Permadeath Survival. I am Cyprime and I am not so live from the moon. Yeah, we found a gold deposit last time. Drilled a really mighty long hole towards it, and this episode we've got to gather as much gold as our ship can handle. We might have to be a little bit sneaky about how we get a little extra gold in there if we possibly can. And then we need to start heading home. On the way back home, we need to be making as straight a line as we possibly can and marking anything that's an obstacle along the way, leaving ourselves some GPS points all the way down so that we can set up some sort of an antenna network so we can kind of like drone operate this trip in the future, because it's far too long to be like man operating this thing until we've got enough jump drives, which I very much doubt we're going to be able to gather this one occasion. We probably get enough for maybe a gravity generator, maybe two if we're lucky. So this is where we're at, and this is a very long way down, still going. Now we've got to keep an eye on a couple of things. Oxygen, energy. It tends to be energy that catches us out, and there's a part of the hole around here somewhere, probably around here-ish, that is way too steep for walking back normally, so as you can see we're bouncing around all over the place. So yeah, the first part of this is going to be really brief. We're just going to drill a load of gold, stock up the ship, and then we can start making our way back. We are on a time limit because Jules, back on the planet, all the way over there somewhere, is in the process of trying to make his way to the centre of the Pertam planet. He's probably already there. He has, so I keep calling him, it's a drone, it's a thing, but yeah, he has, there's a Donzella on the way. He had about 24 hours, maybe just shy of 48. It was saying one day when we left. He is going to run out of power at some point, at which point we'll lose the antenna signal and we'll no longer have the ability to mark his GPS points. So got to get back before that happens. So yeah, let's get drilling. There we go. Right, now we're full. Now to see if we can actually make it out of here. We may have to do some path smoothing on the way out. Get to that bit where it's difficult to walk up, and then we can evaluate it as we go. Yeah, here we are. Right, so that path there, straight up there, is just not going to work for us. So we're going to sort of forge ourselves a new one. Just going at a curve until we can meet the main path again. Take out any steep like turns, because don't particularly want to be bouncing off the wall here. That's still too steep. Whoa. Okay, so kind of wish there was some way to see kind of which, you know, how high we're looking, because like the little ball indicator thing there only works when you're flying, because I can't actually see how steep we're walking. Right, it might do it. Okay, as long as we can consistently get in and out without dying. Right, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to fill up the bag. How did I do it with 71 stone? Right, so that's a couple of K of gold. Right, I guess we just continue this and come back when we've got everything we need. Yeah, I forgot to fill up my energy before I went down for this batch. I literally didn't get time to filter this batch. It's just like stone and gold in my inventory right now and just drilled out as much as I could. Luckily the modifications we made to the hull were sufficient. I don't know what's going on with that bit though. I've only got 2 energy left though, so we might take a little bit of damage. 1 energy left. Lights are going to go off. That's going to be bad if the lights go off. Oh, luckily I can see the stars now. Here we go. Right, run. Run. Just not die. Oh. We only get 1 life on this. We have no respawn point here. So if we die, we end up back at Pertam. We end up leaving the ship behind and any gold we've got. Right, we've got our energy back now. I think now is a good time to consume this med kit. It's just something I've got to do. Right. Gold, silver is... yeah, they're over there. I'm literally going to put a GPS point at the bottom of the hole. Right where that whole thing was. So yeah, that was bad. Don't do what I just did. Do not just suddenly... I can turn my antenna off actually. Let's save some energy. Do not just like decide to risk it. I should have got my energy back as soon as I dropped off that. Do you know what am I doing? What am I doing? I've not emptied my inventory. I'm going back down the hole with a full inventory. Okay, right. So every time you drop off your gold after a long trip like this, drop off your gold, refill your energy, then go back down. It's not a case of or, it's a case of and. Both. Cutting it fine again this time. Oof, nearly walked into that. 8 left. Not as bad as before. Let's get our energy back and then we'll put this in. I think this is the last run that we're going to need. There may still be a little bit of space left. It's taken a while to get through all of this. Luckily we've had no incidents with any assert. So come on, energy. Right, energy's up. Let's assess how much space do we actually have left. That's full. That's nearly full. Full. Not full. And that's all of us. So we need ice, so we'll leave some space for that. But yeah, I guess what I do is I just drop this in wherever it'll fit. Yeah, that'll do. And then we can get moving out of here. So, oh, this definitely feels heavy now. Oh, we're using the mouths right now because we don't need to move fast, we just need to move accurately. We've got no drill on board right now, so I'm going to have to hand drill some ice out here. We only need a few K, just enough to sort of get by. I think we managed to get here on about, well, less than 2K of ice. Our fuel tank is nearly full, so we're in a pretty decent situation. Right, there's an ice ridge right there, so we're just going to park ourselves right slap bang on it and start feeding some ice into that connector at the back. Them in. Yep. Let it all go through to the O2 gens. All that. I'm not depositing all because I don't want to sort of chuck my food and stuff in the back there where I can't get to it later. We're going to turn dampeners off for this. Just be as efficient as we can with our fuel here, because the less fuel we have to refill, the further this ice is going to go. Now we just want to go straight up, and then we want to trace a straight line, as close to a straight line as possible to our base, our asteroid base. and only deviate from that line when we absolutely have to. And what we'll do is we'll leave markers anywhere we have to actually deviate, so that we can leave a decent trail for any kind of yeah, and leave a decent trail for our antenna network to follow, because we're going to send them out by drone using GPS points, and we're going to leave a decent trail for any future drones to follow as well, so get them over here. Right, we're just getting ourselves stopped. Okay, stopped. So we're going to GPS this. GPS, moon entry. Right. And then what we're going to do is we're going to GPS on the way home as we go. As best we can. In order. So that we can set like GPS waypoints up for our antenna network to follow. Right, so Ice Asteroid is about there, so we're just going to go out to about, I think, here-ish, and then we can loop back around to it, because we don't want to sort of stray into Pertam's gravity. Okay, we're lined up, we're dampeners off. I'm just going to turn my personal lights off here, and we're going to turn our interior lights off, because quite frankly, we're going to be using too much power with all this. Interior lights off, antenna off, everything we don't need off. Let's get this power to extend as far as we can. We're still at only 2 days power left. Right, good. All hunky-dory. Oh, main lights off as well. And we will just thrust dampeners off. Just thrust forward until we get to full speed, because we don't want to take any longer than we have to. This is already an 11.5-hour journey, so we're already cutting things really close here. Right, but we can't do this hands off, unfortunately. I have to literally man this entire journey home, because we just don't know what we're going to bump into on the way. And I have to be here to leave these GPS points as we go. So anywhere we need to change direction, GPS point. Now, we're going to use laser antennas as much as we can, because I believe they were fixed in the most recent signal update. So our laser antennas should actually lock on and work properly. They weren't for a long time, but laser antennas require a direct, absolute line of sight, so even an asteroid in a way is going to prevent them from working. So the plan is we'll build a fleet of drones that have a few with laser antennas, a few with laser antennas and regular antennas. In fact, actually, no, we'll put the regular antennas on all of them. And the idea is that if we come across an asteroid or something in the way, we'll place one laser antenna before the asteroid, one after, and we'll allow the normal antenna to bridge the gap between them. So we'll basically have the means to communicate at periodic intervals across the journey. Obviously, like, you know, because of the laser antenna network, we're not going to be able to talk all the way down the middle, only on the intervals where we're passing one of our antennas. But at each end of the journey, we'll have full control. That's the plan. Right, I probably should be in some sort of camera mode so I can keep an eye out for anything that's like not too conducive to us travelling forward. That was a long way of saying in the way. Right, okay, so we're definitely on our way. It's going to take a very, very long time to get there. We have 4,005 kilometers left to go. So I will come back to you when something interesting happens or it's time to leave our GPS point. Right, so straight away I've had an idea. I'm going to drop normal GPS points along the way. So this can be... I'm going to use a naming system here, so it's something quick and easy to type and read. So EM1. That's Earth. No, EP1. No, hang on. Moon, Pertam 1, MP1, yeah. So we're going to go with that. And then we'll place another one maybe in 100 or so kilometers, unless we have to turn. I want to get a little line of them so that we can reline back up so that we're still going as straight as possible all the way home. We're not veering off at weird angles after we've gone round something. Okay, so we got a pretty close pass by an asteroid here, probably within a couple of 100 meters. So what I am going to do, actually what I am going to do first is I'm going to leave a GPS point here, MP2, I should probably call it O2, but it's fine, MP2. We're just going to wait until we get really close to where this asteroid's passing so that we've got a definite point that's safe next to it. No, it's way further away than I thought. Okay, so as soon as we actually start coming past this thing, we're going to drop this marker right next to the asteroid. There we go. What was on it? Ice, okay. So MP2's ice. That just ensures that like any drones we send in this direction or ourselves on a return journey, that we're actually able to keep lined up and navigate around all these asteroidy things, just to make sure that we don't end up plowing into one. Okay, we're going to leave another marker. We are currently over 100 kilometers from the last one, so MP3. We haven't made any course corrections yet, so these are all in a completely straight line. As we'll be able to see if I look behind me. Safe ahead, I think. Yep. So looking directly behind, we'll be able to see that these are, yeah, as close as bang on the same as each other as possible, really. As we get further away, they're going to look closer together. I'm not sure how there's any variance. I'm guessing that there's a teeny tiny bit of drift. But it'll be fine. It could actually even be because I rolled the ship, so my personal location's just a couple of, like, maybe a meter out. But as we get further away, those markers are going to converge because that little difference of like 1 meter becomes less and less as we get further away. There, you can see it already happening there. Right, so they're about, oh god, these are close. Okay, so back to the center of our ship. I'm going to turn our ore detector off. We're really not going to use it. Not until we get close to, well, not until we get home, and then we're going to be looking for magnesium so we can build our missile system to start taking out these enemies. I've had to think about what to do if we're a little late for Jules. So like if Jules has run out of battery when we get there, he'll have stopped in the center of the planet. He can't have gone any further because gravity will keep pulling him back to the center, so the drilling thing won't take him any further. So what we could do is we could set up some sort of like a bouncy ball thing using tires and an antenna and a battery, just a single battery, and drop it with a parachute on it down the hole. And because the parachute works anywhere pretty much within atmosphere, and atmosphere is a circle around the planet that I believe extends all the way down to the center, the parachute should work perfectly fine right all the way down to the center of the planet. So we could just drop something down there to act as a little beacon and then GPS that. We'd have to put a remote control on it though, otherwise we're not going to be able to GPS it. The alternative is to jump in ourselves with a parachute. It's not a good idea though, because I'm not sure how we get back out. Okay, so we're approaching another 100 kilometers from MP3, so this will be the last GPS point for the simple straight line, and we're only going to be marking up any deviations from our course from this point on, if any. It does look like we're in the process of forming like a different course to the way we got here, because we went slightly different from the starting point and we're aiming at a slightly different ending point. So with a bit of luck, the asteroid should continue to just form around me and none should appear right in our path. But yeah, let's get this GPS point down. Okay, now I'm not sure if Keen messed something up with a recent little patch, but is it me or is our speed going up? It's already exceeding the maximum ship speed limit of 100. Normally, when you leave yourself without thrusting, your speed slowly decreases ever so slightly. Yeah. It's been steadily going up just a little bit at a time. It's now 100.18. I'm just going to call it a solar tailwind, and I'm going to take it because it means we get back ever so slightly faster. Okay, so this is a pretty close pass to a cluster here. So what I'm going to do, we're on 05 now, so MP5. So when we get next to this one, like we did with the last one, we're going to leave another GPS. We're just forming that GPS corridor, so it's safe flight corridor, and I want to make sure that any potential obstacles, we leave a GPS as close as possible to it within the safe corridor, so that we've got the means to direct any drones around those, so any slight drift or anything, any kind of slight inaccuracy gets corrected before it is too late. So we'll leave that about here. And as I've been doing with the other ones while I was offline and getting a little bored, I am going to colour that yellow, because it's like a colour that's not really used for anything else as far as I'm aware. We have a lot of markers. We're probably going to have to do a little bit of an audit of these and get rid of a bunch, but it should be alright. Another really close pass here. We're dropping an MP6 right there just to make sure that we can get past it next time as well. Slightly too close for comfort, but should be okay. Okay, so far so good. We've not had to make any course corrections. We're like now, how far? 526 kilometers away from where we started at the moon. We did that on one push, which is great. You know, it's like push off and go. This is the first time I've noticed our speed's decreased at any point. It was 100.228 a few minutes ago. It's now 100.27, so maybe things are correcting. I don't know. I'm just enjoying this ride while we can. Now, while I've got you, I'd like to have a little bit of a chat about the channel and how we're doing, how we're getting on. So as you can see, we're on like episode 33 of this whole series right now, and this is going to carry on going probably nearly indefinitely, or at least until we run out of any good ideas and need to do something else. We will be reducing down to one episode per week because at some point in the near future. I'm going to be doing some filming with Speedweed on something that you probably all should get quite excited about, but I'm not prepared to release any sort of dates or any idea exactly what this is going to be just yet. Let's keep expectations realistic and make sure that we don't overpromise on this channel. We always want to over-deliver rather than over-promising. I also want to do an updated version of our large ship build guide. The last one was February last year. That's when we started that one. I feel that Space Engineers has moved on a little bit since then, so it's time to do an update. The last one was very successful. We had over 28,000 views on that. I think the next one we can do better. Okay, we have another big one coming in. This is going to be a close pass. It actually formed like right over there, but we are moving just slightly off to one side of it. So I'm going to prepare our GPS again. Usual process. Just making sure we place them anywhere that we absolutely need to make sure that the flight path is absolutely followed. Right, we're quite a way out from it yet, like maybe a few kilometers, but it's coming quite quick. I can't see any fragments that we're going to crash into. We do have to be extremely careful of that, because even the tiniest little fragment could rip through this ship at this sort of speed. Right, so as soon as it passes to my side, and we GPS right there. So there's a GPS point. Which is a nice clear run to the side of that asteroid. Wonderful. Okay, let's check it at the front. Clear. So let's get this GPS point coloured and the one before it. So we're going yellow. Bit more yellow. And that one. Yeah, let's go proper yellow. There we are. So we have 7 points marked plus the entry point so far, and we've covered, I'd like to say, well, actually I could tell you exactly how far we've covered. We have covered 600 kilometers. It's not far. We've got a total of 4,000 and something to cover, so another 3,460 to go to get to where we're going as well. Yay. Okay, we might have a little bit of a situation forming here. Possibly. It is more likely we're going to slip between these two, but I think once we're sure, this is going to be another GPS situation. We're only 86 kilometers from the last one, but I think by the time we get to these asteroids, we're probably going to get quite close to 100, which seems to be the average really for close passes. Our speed's dropped slightly again to 100.26. It's still over what's normal, but at least we're not going much faster, which is a bit of a shame, but I'd be a bit worried if it kept on going up too much that something could just completely bug out. Right, we're going to pass by these two just fine. I'm thinking that little cluster ahead of us there is going to be okay as well, but I think we should be fine. I'm going to kind of mark up right in the middle of all of this. And we've got a clear target. Yeah, that's really close. Alright, I'm going to drop our GPS right here. Now I can look around properly. See that one go. Yeah, GPS right slightly in between them two. I don't think I need to leave another one for this because Even though this cluster looks very bitty, and there could be like a couple of little bits, like there's one there, that little thing there would absolutely wreck us. But we're going to pass underneath. Okay, now we're on to the second day of recording because these journeys take a long time. We're definitely not making it all the way on this episode, but we're going to see how far we can get, at the very least. Alright, let's see where we're at on speed. 100.26, so that's good. And so far, no course corrections whatsoever on the way. We are mostly full. We do have a little bit of cargo storage space left, I think. But for some weird reason, my HUD still thinks we have a drill, which is a bit weird. Maybe if I just take that off there. Yeah, there we go. So the HUD still thinks we have a drill. Taking it off the bar, that sorts that problem out. Now we're passing a little cluster here. We are a fair way from where we started now. Let's go back to our spinny thing. That's where we came from. Those are our markers. MP8 needs a colour change, I think. Okay, so we are carrying 41k of gold with us, so the return journey is a little more important than the going out journey, because the gold in this ship is currently the only gold this side of that whole section there, because there's gold on that moon, there's gold on that moon, and there's gold on that moon. There is no gold anywhere around there, apart from the odd meteor crater, and there's no gold anywhere around there. So we are carrying the only gold this side of these planets. We can't lose it. This is extremely valuable, extremely rare. Now what we're going to have to figure out is some way of placing these antenna drones along the path on the markers, but getting them out the way a little bit, so like, you know, they should reach their marker and then move to one side for a little bit. Otherwise what's going to happen is, if we flew a drone through this path, it's going to get hit by every single drone on the way. So I think what we'll have to do is sort of like position the drones, like you send the drones out sequentially, positioning them along the path, starting from the furthest away and working forward, so each drone's not smacking into each other, and then manually just operate each drone and just shuffle it over like half a kilometre, just to keep that path clear, but also keep that line of sight. Small movement for each drone shouldn't be a problem. Okay, I've just done the maths and we are 8.75 hours away from home. So 8 hours and 45 minutes. So yeah, we managed more than 100 kilometers from the last marker and no close passes yet. But we do have a cluster coming in, so it's not exactly a close pass. They're not all going to be close passes, but approximately every 100-ish kilometers you seem to get something significant at least, and it makes its way by a reasonably close distance. It's almost certainly pretty close. That's a dark one. What's going on with that? Is it shadowed by something? It's like a dark cloud. More waffling, more rambling on, because there's nothing to do out here. There is literally nothing to do but watch that number slowly decrease. Yeah. Thinking about it as well, I mean, while I was down on the planet, I could have taken off a couple of these like excess thrusters and used them to make something. maybe even to put the drill back on there, but we're not going to use it. We can't really afford to stop if we don't have to. We need to get back in time for duels. We may even be late, and we may even be doing our little parachute drop idea sometime in the meantime. It's highly possible. While I've been thinking as well, I've been considering what we could possibly use the new action relay that came in the signal update for. And one of my thoughts are, if we place enough of these sort of beacons out here, enough of these little antenna things, assuming they don't all get attacked and destroyed by the enemy, we can actually use them so that when we send a drone by, when they detect the drone within range, we may have to figure out how we're going to make that happen, but when they detect the drone within range, they send a signal back to Pertam, which sets off an alarm or turns off something so that we know that that drone is ready to control. That could be extremely useful. Otherwise, we kind of just have to keep checking in on it. It'd be nice to actually have some sort of a definitive signal that it's arrived. So we could even have the drone do it. We could just put an action relay on each of the drones, and when they arrive at their final point, the last marker on the waypoints tells it fire the action relay off, and then we know exactly that that drone is ready. To be kind of cool. Okay, now this is an example of something that it's not mega close, but it's noteworthy. It is going to be a reasonably close pass, just because of its sheer size. I mean, it looked quite out of the way, but the size of this thing. This is a sort of asteroid you could build a base in. Probably not far off the size of ours, actually. Right, so we're going to leave a marker of this one as well. So let's just zoom right out. Stop flickering. I've got everything in the copy paste buffer here, so it just means that if I have to do like an emergency marker, I can do this dead quick. Right, so this is number 10, so we're in double digits now. We're just going to wait until we can't see it anymore. Oh, there we go. And we'll just colour that one. Again, you know, this whole... okay. We're going to have to rename them all. There we go, that's better. Where's 9? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There we go. Now they're all going to appear in the right order. Perfect. Right, little tip for you there. So if you're leaving a sequence of markers and you think you're going to go into double digits, start naming them in double digits. So now that we're chatting again, you see these sort of chats come few and far between on this journey. It might seem like I'm talking all the time to you because I'm leaving out the middle bits, but for me this is like half an hour of not doing anything, and then I get the urge to talk, and the whole empty space thing drives you a bit nuts. So yeah, a while ago I mentioned that I was looking at getting back on to a motorcycle so that, you know, just to make going to work a little easier, have a little bit of fun when I'm not doing this or recording. It also buys me a bit more time to do this sort of thing because less time commuting to work. It gets me 10 hours a week back. So all of the funds from this channel, which is not a lot, but all of that is going towards that goal of getting myself fully licensed up and back on 2 wheels. And yeah, hopefully that'll be soon. I was tempted to sit here doing this with my helmet, gloves and boots and everything on because they need breaking in, but something tells me it'd be quite difficult to play this with a pair of gloves on. Right, so we are 1,047 kilometers away from where we started. and less than 3,000 kilometers away from where we're going. So we are just over 1/4 of the way there. So yeah, we've got no asteroids in front of us right now. There's no big dangers. So I figured, you know, why not pay a little bit of homage to our community, our audience, and go through some of the most recent comments. Now, I know I've already replied to a lot of these, but I think some of them, yeah, I think they need a little bit more attention than what I'm able to give in just a little text comment reply. So let's just go through a few of them from the beginning. So yeah, a day ago, somebody called Why So Serious 6 left a comment saying that they're loving the vids. They're a little late to the party. I believe they're watching some of the earlier episodes from this season, catching up slowly as well, and they're picking up lots of tips, and they like the length of the videos. I'm glad you do, because I think it's a perfect length here, and it's almost like other YouTubers seem to rush to get to the good stuff while cutting out the grind. It's a really good point actually, because I think a lot of people very short attention spans on YouTube these days, and they don't really have the attention to sort of watch these bits. But it doesn't really give a very good representation of what the game's really like. Space Engineers very much is a grind, but it's like kind of how do you spend that grind? You know, what do you do to make it more interesting for yourself? The game does not hand to you missions and such on a plate. It's up to you to make your own fun. It is a sandbox, basically. So yeah, I'm glad you appreciate what we're doing here, and thank you very much for joining our little community and for taking the time to leave a comment. Fantastic. Keith Cummins, I know that name. Great episode, making progress. I think by the time you get back, Jules should be in position so you can start bombing run. I am looking forward to making that bombing run, and hopefully we do catch Jules before he runs out of power. But as I said earlier on, we do have a plan for if that's the case and he has run out of power, but we also still do need to get magnesium, so we've got to hold our horses. We've also still got to design the whole bomb delivery system as well, so that's going to be a big one. Looking forward to that too. Fabulous. Mad Hat was taken. I like that name. I've seen you around a few times as well. You're one of our regulars, I think. Yeah, glad you found gold. Yes, we found gold. We have 41 ton. Well, yeah, we have like 41 tons of it in our cargo right now. Hopefully that refines down to something usable. Chilled Maccas, you're a regular. You're a Brit. Peace up to the Brits. That sounds so cheesy. Can't believe I said that. Cool episode. Is it worth grabbing a little silver for medical facilities on the asteroid? Yeah, we got, I said this in a comment, but we have an asteroid really close to our base asteroid that has a ton of silver on it. So we didn't really want to be taking up any cargo space, bringing that back with us. It would have been nice though, and it certainly would have been a possibility. And we have a comment from Keeper. You're a regular, and you're a live streamer as well, I believe. So everybody go check out Keeper 1978. He live streams on Twitch with 7 Days to Die. He also has plenty of videos of Xbox Space Engineers gameplay, so check him out. He says, ASMR heavy breathing, lol. Yeah, he's referencing the ASMR heavy breathing and talking about the 7 Days to Die, which he also plays, as I just mentioned. Yeah, there's a lot of heavy breathing in both of those episodes, and it sounds awful most of the time. Keep your visor open when you can, and don't run in 7 Days to Die, simple as. What else have we got here? Mad Hat again. Forgetting a ship on a straight path in the direction you're pointing. It's easiest to have dampers enabled and backwards thrusters turned off. The dampers will stop sideways and vertical velocity, but won't slow you down because the backwards thrust is turned off. That's absolutely right. I could put my dampeners on and turn off my reverse thrusters, and I'll keep going forward, but any other change of direction will be changed. However, because I'm occasionally doing unusual maneuvers, especially on the last episode where I was sort of getting out and getting back in, I really need that velocity to stay constant no matter which direction the ship is facing in. Especially since sometimes with the mouse, I mean, you won't see it while I'm in here, but if I zoom in on a camera that's like stationary and still gives me control of the ship, you'll notice that any movement and there's a bit of drift that happens. Now, that little tiny nudge of the mouse then if I had my front thrusters turned off and dampeners turned on for everything else, I would have just changed direction. As it stands here, I can face my ship in any direction I want and nothing happens, which is great. And now I'm drifting all over the place again. So this is why, you'll have seen this is why I look down and use this little doodah. In Star Citizen, that would be your TVI, your true velocity indicator, or true vector indicator, whatever you want to call it. But this basically, if I point, there's a little faint X in there, but if I point the little thing at that, you'll see how sensitive it is. It's kind of all over the place, but that basically means my nose is pointing in the direction I'm going, and I just got out my seat. That was very silly of me. Right, back onto my big camera, because I need to be keeping an eye out for asteroids. Right, next one. Another comment from Chilled Maccas, who've been busy. Sai is not only into self-torture, he's willing to drag us along for the ride. I'm here for it, fella. Yep, appreciate that. Solidarity in torture. It's not so much self-torture, I'm just doing this because it's absolutely necessary for the episode. Although you could argue that this entire series has been self-torture because we've been making it as hard as possible for myself. Right, what else have we got? How do you say your name? Sir El Cid de Leon. I hope I got that right. 9 to 10 hours real time? Damn. Talk about real immersion. Maybe build a booster system you can dock to, more like Maglock to. You see that? Yeah, I commented on that one as well. That's a really good idea. I'm assuming by booster system you basically mean jump drive system, because at the moment we are going supposedly max speed, even though occasionally the game seems to be speeding me up by like 0.1 every now and again, but generally speaking 100 meters per second is max speed in this game unless you have a mod in. So booster systems won't make me go any faster, but a jump drive system will allow me to instantaneously jump up to 2,000 kilometers at a time, but then you have to wait for the jump drive to fully recharge before you can use it again. So it's a bit of a stop-start system, but requires a lot of power, like an entire battery's worth of charge for each jump drive, and it also requires a lot of gold and probably silver and cobalt to build the actual drive itself. So we've got a bit of resources to find. I doubt we're going to have enough gold in this current haulage to be able to build one. So we may still need to do the whole sending the drone back to get some more gold thing. But eventually we will have enough so that we can go and get platinum and uranium from the other planets without having to do the in-between bit. So that's fantastic. Right, I'm going to leave those comments there for this time. Drop a comment on this episode, because like we're not going all the way here on this one, so next episode we will have a little bit more of a journey to go, and we will definitely be getting back to our Pertam base and carrying on there in the same episode. So half of next episode will be travel and the other half will be doing stuff. So to keep the travel bit interesting, drop me a comment on anything you want me to answer. I'm not going to answer them in the comments this time. I'll wait till the episode and we'll read out those comments and we will answer them. Anything you want to ask at all. I'm putting no limits on this. Just ask me anything. It doesn't even have to be about the game. Just whatever you want to know. And we'll make this an entertaining journey back. So fantastic. Also, there is not going to be a Tuesday episode this week, partly because it's going to take a lot of filming to get all the way back to Pertam, and I don't want to have 3 episodes in a row of just traveling through empty space. So Tuesday's going to be out. Also, it's a bank holiday weekend, which is a public holiday weekend in the UK, which means 3-day weekend. Yay, no work. So I'm going to be out enjoying sunshine or whatever weather the UK throws at us, and not necessarily be sitting editing the entire time. So the next episode will be the Saturday. So we will see you then.